Please join us for a Q&A session with Bruno Berti and Chris Sashi.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for joining us today. I know we've got a big crowd out there. I am Steve Lem. I am the Senior Vice President of Marketing and Product for the Data Centers Division of the Americas with NTT. I've got Bruno and Chris here with me. We've got a lot of questions coming in, so we're going to dive right in. We'll give Chris a minute to catch his breath. I don't know how he managed to get to his desk so quickly and seem to have changed too. So, Chris, you can take a minute there to get ready. But we'll dive right in as you heard. If you've got more questions, if you want to put those in the Q&A section, we'll dive into those. But let's get going in here as we've got quite a bit to cover. Bruno, let's start with you. We've had a lot of questions about this, and I think we all talked about 2020 being such a different year. But normally we'd all be standing in Chicago or standing in Hillsborough together and be able to spend some time really digging in around the data center. There's some questions coming in about how we're handling tours and what we're doing to show the data centers and what are the expectations of the customers in this time where we don't have the same access maybe that we've had in the past.
That's actually a funny question given the fact that we just did our first ever virtual tour and not actually able to be in the data center specifically. But I get this question sometimes, like in terms of, is the physical tour or the actual walking through a data center before a customer buys a thing of the past? I think what we've seen is it's never going to be a thing of the past. I don't believe it is. I think since we're providing physical co-location space for our clients where they're putting physical servers and making sure that their equipment is providing whatever services they need, I think the need for a physical tour or to physically see the data center before a customer buys is still going to be there. But I do believe that a lot of the protocols have changed for those types of physical tours. We have a lot more processes, procedures in place to make sure that if there is a physical tour required, that all of our customers and our staff are safe through the tour. We have a lot of policies and procedures that we've modified through the pandemic to do that. But I think that kind of leads me to sort of what we've noticed and sort of the change in that the concept of a virtual tour or a video tour or an actual tour with someone just carrying a camera through the data center is becoming more and more critical to the buying process. Our customers now are actually demanding that or requesting that a lot sooner in the buying process, where maybe you tour at the end. Now they want to see that physical virtual tour through the beginning. And I think through 2020, Steve, most of our customers and most of our opportunities have actually gone through a video or a virtual tour, as we like to call them. So I think that's changing the way we do things a little bit. And although I still said that the physical tour is important, I think I'm happy to say that I was on a call with one of our new clients last week, and we had our first, I guess I'll call it a virtual sale, because they never set foot in our facility and actually contracted with us for co-location space. So that was a first for us, and I think it's kind of exciting to see that these tools, these processes, the ability for us to do these virtual tours actually allowed us to be successful.
Yeah, and interesting that they actually called that out, that was the first time they had ever transacted new data center space without actually having set foot in it. So interesting.
Exactly. So
Chris, let's jump over to you. There's a number of questions and there's a lot of discussion around sustainability these days. And I'd love for you to spend a minute and talk to our audience about what do we mean when we talk about sustainability? What are we doing in and around the data center, and what is kind of our forward-looking view on how we can continue to get and increase our sustainability in all of our data centers?
Yeah, I think the sustainability goals that our clients have, we look at it at NTT as being broken up into three separate categories. There's sustainability point as far as CH1 and HI1 are concerned. Both utility providers offer renewable energy credits that give our clients sources on the grids at both of these locations. And I think that's pretty consistently true throughout our portfolio of data centers. And then from a consumption standpoint, we have facilities that employ highly efficient equipment and maximize the productive use of our resources, starting with our mechanical plant and air-cooled chillers having integral free cooling coils that are capable of drawing down the electrical consumption of the compressors serving those units during optimal ambient conditions. Both buildings are also closed loop chilled water systems and don't require an outside source of water to provide cooling to the data halls. So it doesn't tax that resource as well, which adds an additional layer of efficiency. And then our power conversion equipment, our UPSs and transformers, we target 97 and 99% efficiency for these units, which again further increases our ability to utilize the energy coming into the building in the most efficient manner. From a generation standpoint, actually HI1, interestingly enough, has a solar plant on site that's positioned to offset a portion of our front of house loads. And we're looking at this as sort of a model for strategies going forward at other sites.
Yeah, an additional 600 kW, I believe, of that. So you mentioned Hillsboro, and I think one of the things that we're excited about is our Oregon Cleaner Air certification. Can you talk about what that means, and how does that fit within our sustainability plans and objectives?
Absolutely, yeah. This is something we're really proud of. The Cleaner Air Act, just to give a little bit of context for those not familiar with that Oregon statute. It's additional requirements above and beyond the federal Clean Air Act that sort of close loopholes that were perceived as beneficial to this particular environment. So compliance ensures that industrial progress doesn't come at the expense of public health. And we are the only data center in the Hillsboro market to have received that certification. And for our clients, I think it just offers evidence of our commitment to sustainability and commitment to the communities that we operate in.
Yeah, great. So one of the other things, beyond the Cleaner Air Act, is there are some other benefits that in both of those regions, both Hillsboro and Chicago, that we are passing on to our customers with some of the tax incentives and other programs. Chris, can you speak to those a little bit and share some details on that?
Sure. I'll start with Chicago. So Illinois has implemented a tax incentive program that's a sales and use tax exemption that allows our clients with a memorandum of understanding to eliminate a 7.5% tax on materials that are typically installed during the fit out of our client spaces. So there's quite a bit of savings to be taken advantage of with that program. And then in addition to that, Hillsboro has a property tax exemption that our clients can participate in and receive an annual tax abatement on equipment housed in the data center as well.
Great. All good things, both additional attributes to exciting markets. So Bruno, let's jump over. There was a question about some of the new products in terms of our connectivity and our networking strategy, and specifically in Hillsboro, we've been pushing some information and talking to a lot of our clients about our subsea cabling products and the connections that are specific in Oregon. Can you speak to that and provide some details about what we're doing out of that data center?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think it was mentioned a little bit in the video, but one of the main benefits of the Pacific Northwest as a data center location is really access to a lot of those subsea cables that connect the two continents together. And probably one of the main reasons why we selected Hillsboro as one of our strategic expansion locations. I'm not sure how many people are aware of the number of cables that connect North America to the Asia Pacific region, but there's tons of cables with thousands and thousands and thousands and probably thousands of fibers that are used to facilitate the communications between these two markets and two continents for that matter. So for us, we specifically tapped one of those cable bundles and actually have created an opportunity for our customers to access PC1, which is a specific cable fiber bundle that connects our data center and the clients in our data center to Tokyo, Japan, and all the data centers in that surrounding market. So we make it really easy for customers. So with their co-location services, they can contract with us for either a 10 gig or 100 gig service on that platform or on that cable. And it's turnkey. It's all they need to do is contract with us. We make it part of their co-location service, and they have access to that fiber, that connectivity, and basically have connected those two markets together. So we knew that going in there, it was going to be critical to be able to offer that. And then the other piece that our team did is really try to make it as simple as possible for customers, so they weren't dealing with multiple contracts and months of setup time. So we have it ready to go today for customers to contract with us on.
Yeah, it's exciting stuff, and one of the real values is, as we all build out under the NTT umbrella, being able to offer additional services and products to our customers as we go forward is exciting stuff. So, thanks, Bruno.
Yeah.
Chris, let's jump back over. You mentioned, Chris, a moment ago, it seems like, when you were standing outside our electrical modules, about our vendor managed inventory and how we're building and delivering in multiple markets. Talk to us a little bit more about what that means and what the value is for us as a company, and how that translates into the flexibility with our clients.
Sure. Yeah, I think this is one of the coolest parts about how NTT approaches their construction. Our design and construction teams have kind of sought to put an eye on efficiency, consistency, and repeatability when it comes to our new designs and new builds, both HI1 and CH1. As I had said in the video previously, utilize equipment from our vendor managed inventory for major components of the mechanical and electrical plants. These, in the case of the E-mods that we were looking at, are integrated, assembled, and tested before they ever reach the site. And that offers us a tremendous amount of flexibility when it comes to meeting the timelines of prospective clients that we have in the pipeline. We can redirect assets to meet the needs of clients in different areas, and it's something our design and construction team really prides themselves on. The result of this at the end is a speed to market and an operational consistency that just adds to the overall level of certainty that we're trying to establish with all of our builds.
Yeah, and important to give that runway and that flexibility in all of our markets simultaneously. So a really important component of our growth plan going forward. Along those lines, Bruno, let's throw it back over to you. One of the things we talked about from a kind of a detail of what we were building. There was quite a bit of what I would call nerd speak in there. A lot of details of all of the specifics of those buildings. But when you think about how we are serving our clients, or really how we're serving clients of different sizes, what are we doing to service both our large and small clients, and how do we think about retail versus wholesale versus those that are buying it at scale, as Joe talked about earlier? What's our overall strategy, and what are we building in each of these sites?
Yeah, I think that's actually one of the things that I believe our company has done right from the start, and we've really understood the fact that no two clients are the same. Even if they were, no two client requirements are the same. So what we've done from the start with our design is we've tried to make sure that we can address the needs of different clients, no matter how big, how small they are. And for us, that means I have a product that I can sell to a client that needs a single cabinet, secured cabinet. I want to keep that in mind, because the security of those cabinets and those spaces are critical, but a secured cabinet within our shared environment. We also have the ability to provide a cage enclosure or a secured enclosure that can house and support multiple cabinets in any configuration. We also have the ability to allow our customers to have and purchase an entire, we call them a vault, but it's a data hall. So it's an entire room that could be dedicated to a client if they're buying that at scale. And we also have some clients that are looking to take entire floors or entire buildings, and we've designed our products to really be able to meet the needs of all those customers. And I think one of the things that we've always prided ourselves on the product team is we try to build a product to meet our client needs, not a client that meets our product needs, which is a little bit more difficult to do, but it does give our team some flexibility, and it allows us to have a solution for all the types of opportunities that we're engaged in.
So on that note, when we talk about some of the products and services, one of the things that we've seen a much higher utilization on, obviously, with where we're at in the time of COVID. But let's talk a quick minute about our remote hands and eyes and kind of the services in and around the data center. What are we offering what are we offering to our clients of all sizes, and what's been happening with that over the last year or so, obviously, as that's become more important as we've tried to control access to the data centers?
Yeah, that's an interesting phenomenon, because I think I was on a panel last week discussing this specific solution, but basically with everybody moving to a work from home or a lockdown state, the data center doesn't stop. In fact, we've seen data center requirements increase significantly to meet some of these online requirements that work from home really drives. So what we've done was really ramped up our remote hands staff and services to support our customers when, at first we didn't want a lot of people within our data center. So we really urged our clients to leverage that remote hands capability. We've got trained staff within our data center that is, trained and able to go into our client environments and provide what we call remote hands, which are really kind of some of the physical aspects of rebooting servers, of checking lights, maybe moving cabling around based on customer instruction that would actually eliminate or remove the need for a client to actually physically come on site. And that's been a huge benefit to a lot of our customers since they haven't needed to come on to just do some simple tasks, and we can provide that for them. And we did a bit of a report at the end of last year to just sort of see what the trends and what the differences have been. And it was interesting to see that our remote hands usage increased by over 35%. That's pure usage in hours over the same period a year before. So the pandemic has definitely, allowed, or I actually stressed the importance of having people work remotely and being able to do things on site for our clients on their behalf.
Yeah, and providing those services to customers and clients of all sizes is very important in our overall strategy, obviously. So a couple of quick ones coming in here. There is a question about connectivity in our networking, maybe a follow-on to the subsea cabling, but the question is, are all of our data centers connected globally, including the new data centers? And can you speak to a couple of those products, Bruno? I know that's probably one best for you.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So I think that's one of the things that, if NTT is known for its roots, it's really about the telecommunications and the ability to provide that connectivity. So one of the things that, I'm very proud of is the fact that we have, within each data center, we have a significant amount of data center connectivity options for our clients. As was mentioned in the video, first and foremost, we're carrier neutral. We allow any and all carriers to come into our data center to service our customers, and we provide connectivity options to those. We have our own blended internet product that's a blend of industry-leading internet providers out there that we can offer to our customers. Again, it's more from a simplicity perspective and being able to provide one bill to our clients. In addition to those, all of our data centers in the Americas are interconnected through a product that we call Campus Connect, which is really just a connectivity fabric that allows all of our data centers to be connected so customers can connect to themselves and can connect to other customers if they're a client of the data center. And each one of our GDC regions have that same connectivity capability. And with NTT, we've actually enhanced that to allow connectivity outside of regions. So we've got a full suite of connectivity options within our data center because we understand that co-location in data centers isn't about just the space, power, cooling, and electricity anymore. It's really about that connectivity and making sure that all these environments can work together and look like it's one big environment. So there's a full suite of connectivity options, and Subsea Connect that we added with Hillsboro is just an additional option for our clients, again, making it as easy as possible for them to colo with NTT.
So lots of choices, lots of options. So good stuff. All right, we've got a couple of quick minutes here. I'm seeing some more questions coming in. I'm going to combine two of these here. And maybe, Chris, you can handle part of this, and I'll actually answer a little bit of this. But how will we handle pre-screening and contact tracing for third-party suppliers? I think the broader question there is, how are we managing access and control, obviously in the time of COVID? The second piece of that, there's a separate question, but I think it's really the similar thing, is aside from security and maintenance personnel, what other NTT employees are on site? And one of the comments I'll make on that one, as with many data centers, historically, the corporate offices were in the data centers themselves. Bruno and I both have an office, in our CA3 facility. We are 100% remote. Obviously, we with non-data center specific roles, we've moved to a remote model to try and limit that exposure. We do have our maintenance and security personnel and our critical access for specific specific personnel, but we absolutely try and control that to minimize the risk and exposure within the data center. In terms of contract tracing and process, I don't know, Chris, if you want to speak to that a little bit. We do have some very, very robust processes in place to control access and manage that.
Yeah, as Steve alluded to, we take this extremely seriously. Anytime we have anyone visiting one of our sites, almost everyone involved with that facility, and then management needs to be made aware of that that request to attend the site. And then our security and operations personnel will, take temperatures as well as ask COVID screening questions prior to entry to the facility. 100% masked at all times. And we stress, even with our clients, to where there are opportunities to limit the number of people that are on site, we push to achieve that limitation in order to ensure a safe environment for all of our employees as well as our clients.
Yeah, it's been challenging, but I think the team has definitely risen to the occasion in terms of the process and the rigor with which we've been able to manage that and minimize any risk to both our employees and to our clients. So there's a few more questions coming in. We will try and answer those and we'll provide follow-on answers to this. I do want to close with one question, Bruno, with you. We heard Joe and Doug both talk a little bit about some of the things that are coming next, but I wanted to give you a chance to give us that quick preview. What's the next thing coming down the pipe, and what are the things that we have to look forward to really in the coming months even?
Yeah, I think Joe mentioned Santa Clara and Phoenix, and I'll talk a little bit about those, but I kind of just want to preface it with this is just the start, right? I think we're excited at NTT GDC with the expansion and really the focus that we've put on making sure that we have a solid data center solution across the globe. For us in the Americas, the next data center actually that we're focusing our attentions on is Santa Clara. So we're very close to being able to commission and launch our first data center in that market. It's an exciting market for us. We've had probably the most interest in that building than probably any other building. I think you saw in the video some of that base isolation technology that's going to be used to protect the facility and our clients' equipment in there. I think it's incredible to see, and talk about geeking out. I spent a lot of time in under the building looking at all these solutions and just amazed. So that's next. It's a 16 megawatt 4-story facility, and if you're in the Bay Area, if you're in Santa Clara, take a look at the building. It's the design is just incredible, and kind of excited about that building. Shortly after that one, we've already started construction in our Phoenix expansion, which is actually in a suburb of Phoenix called Mesa, Arizona. So we're starting to build our first 36 megawatt building there. That campus is impressive as well and exciting because we can get 7 buildings on that campus. So we have a lot of runway and a lot of focus and commitment to that whole Phoenix market by, a lot of customers have been asking us for that. And that's not where we're going to stop either, Steve. I think those are the ones that are announced. We're continually investigating and looking at in other markets in the U.S. and in North America. We are the Americas, so we're definitely looking to see what other markets are critical for us to be in from a data center perspective in the Americas. So love to talk to our clients, love to hear what your expansion plans are to help at least guide and maybe accelerate some of those plans. But this is just the start of a lot of expansion.
Yeah, excellent. And hopefully we'll all get together soon and celebrate and get a chance to take a look at Santa Clara. Given the timing, I'm not sure we'll be able to have a big event in the building yet, but maybe by the time we open Phoenix, we'll all be together again. So, well, Chris, Bruno, thank you guys both. Lots of good information here, and thanks to everyone around the globe. We had a significant group joining us this morning or this afternoon, depending on where you were. Thank you to Doug and Joe for all of the information, Chris and Ashley for their tours, and our executive team around the globe. That intro and that toast is exciting to think about how many teams and the leadership that we have as we become and are part of the broader NTT community. So thanks to everyone for joining us today. A reminder that this entire session will be available on demand. If you did miss parts of this, you can capture that. You'll have a chance to review that content again, and we look forward to seeing everyone again soon at the next event. Thank you very much for attending.